Yeah, it's a pleasure to be with you here. I would love also to know who are with us. I mean, if I'm not wrong, Gabriela, Lubomir, and Mihaina. I don't know how to pronounce that name.
Mihailina, yes, Mihailina.
Mihaina.
Right. Mihailina.
Mihaina, you live there in Bratislava?
No, I live in Rosenberg, but I come from Ukraine. That's why such name, yes.
Great, welcome. And Gabriela, where are you
Thank
from?
You.
Well, Gabriela is not here. I'm her husband. Gabriela is known by Lucia and Miloš, and he let me the link to this meeting, so I can follow for a while. I'm from Bratislava, so we all are from Bratislava.
Great, and Lubomir is the other one? Lubomir? Well, maybe he's not listening. It's okay. Some of you, while I'm talking a little about what we do in this field of relationships between Christian or Catholics and Jews, if Lucia or Maros, if you have a Facebook, because I don't have a Facebook account, if you can search, because I would love to put here in the screen something which Milos spoke about, which is in English, is the only song that we sang in English with the bishop, me and the bishop, and it's located in the Facebook account of the World Jewish Congress. So if you can search while I'm talking in the World Jewish Congress Facebook, you can write World Jewish Congress, Rabbi
I find
Polakoff.
It in the meantime. I'm looking for it.
Okay, Rabbi Polakoff and Bishop, and it will appear. And I think that would be the best thing that I can share with you this time that we will share together. And if you are ready, let me know and we can listen. It's a very small song. It's about 2 minutes, but it shows through this activity the main thing that we can do about dialogue, interreligious dialogue, because at least in Argentina, maybe more in Córdoba, it's not about dialogue, it's about friendship now. It began as dialogue, but now the level of dialogue is so high that we are really friends, not only with the Catholics, but also with the Muslims and the evangelicals and the Baha'is and the Armenians and the Orthodox Greeks. And so the coexistence here is so nice that I can go to the mosque and feel like I'm in my home. It happens the same with the imam who comes here a lot. And you're sharing, okay. Let's see if we can listen to this. Yes, that's it. It's not, it's without the audio. Not yet.
Maybe we need to unmute somebody.
I know there is something to share the audio also, but I don't know. Maros knows that it's not sounding.
Yes, please. You don't hear the sound?
No, no. We just, we don't hear.
All right. Well, I don't know how this works then. I have to admit I'm a little bit technically.
I think that there is something that you can share also the sound, but I really don't know. Because, yeah, the main thing here is the sound. Okay, we can do this.
Let me try now.
Okay.
It's with sound?
No.
Then I don't know what I can do.
Okay, maybe you can share in the screen the link so everybody could listen afterwards.
Yes, we will just show it at the end.
Okay, maybe you can share the link for the ones that have a Facebook account. It will be easier. Okay, that's one point about the work that we are doing in the interreligious dialogue field, that I was telling you that we surpassed that level, and we are doing things that we didn't imagine before some years. And as I told you, this tradition related to the sports, I can tell you about other programs that I think that are very useful and that maybe you can copy them in Bratislava too. For example, one of the most successful programs that we have, it's about 15 years of existence, this program, and we organize it with the education ministry. And each Thursday morning of the year, I mean the year of the schools, the students of fourth grade in the secondary, which is about guys of 16 years old, more or less, 16, 17 years old, they come each Thursday morning, and they walk together, more or less 200 or maybe 300 students of different schools, private school, public schools, religious schools, non-religious schools, from every place. And they come together from 3 or 4 schools, different schools, and they spend the whole morning walking from the cathedral, the Catholic cathedral. Everything is nearby, luckily, because Córdoba is a city of 1.5 million inhabitants, so it's a huge city. But in the center, in the downtown of the city, we are very close. So they begin in the Catholic cathedral, and then they go walking 10 minutes to the mosque, and then another 10 minutes here, I mean, to the synagogue, and then they finish in a Protestant church, which is 5 minutes from here. And in each place of worship, we receive them, the leadership of the whole of the different traditions. We receive them. They are more or less an hour in each place, and we show them the buildings, and we explain to them what does it mean. I don't know, a Star of David or a cross or whatever there is. We show them the Torah, for example, in the synagogue, and they ask whatever they want. And you know that a young, about 16 or 17 year old, they ask everything, and it's very, very nice to hear also the questions. And of course, what we know, we tell them, and they see in a vibrant way that we can share together lots of different activities and also thinking in different ways, because always it's very normal to hear, oh, we share a lot of things, or we share a lot of values, something which is true, but the main how do you say, the main thing to live with is not the things that we share, but the things or the moments or the thoughts that we differ from each other. I mean, if I don't agree with the Catholics or with the Muslims in some thoughts or in some situations, we still can celebrate our differences and live together and hold at the same time different versions of the truth, knowing that the only true is the one that belongs to God. So we, in a certain way, abandon the monopoly of the truth. And in this way, we can share together this kind of friendship. And 15 years after doing this program, I think that it's our best program. More than 50,000 students went through this. And at that age, it's very important to see this, because I remember myself with 16 or 17 years old, it was almost prohibited for me to be in a different way, in a different place of worship than the synagogue. So I couldn't imagine to be, you know, in a church or in a mosque, asking whatever I want to the priest or to the rabbi or to the, and this is, like, it makes a difference in each youngster that comes to this program, and you should do this, because it's absolutely great and it's very easy to do it. It takes time, and we reserve each Thursday morning to do this, and it's outstanding. And there is a video, I will try to find out. We made a video about this activity in English with the translation, but I couldn't find it now. So I will find it later, and I will send it to you just to show the images of this program, which is fantastic. Up to now, we are okay. Questions, doubts, commentaries? I would love to.
So how long is it? Is it just once a week for one evening or one day?
It's each Thursday morning, we dedicate the morning to this program. So it's more or less 30 Thursdays per year. 30 Thursdays per year. It's a lot, but we appreciate this, and the kids also. The kids also. At the same time, it was so successful that in the mayor of the city, asked us to open the same program to the tourists. So once in a month, we do the same visit, an interreligious visit. It's like a new tourist destination that they call the interreligious visit. And with the tourists that come to the city from different places of Argentina and from different countries, we organize together with the mayor of the city this kind of visits. And the tourists also, they appreciate a lot this way of sharing our traditions. And the main thing is when they see that I am not alone in the synagogue receiving the visitors, but at my side, maybe it's the bishop or maybe it's the imam, and those images are very, very strong for the visitors and also for the kids, because they are not used to that. But luckily, we can do it absolutely in a normal way. For us, it's not something strange, but it takes time. So I would recommend a lot to do this kind of activities, because after years and years of doing this, you transform not only the minds and the hearts of the people that come to these activities, but the whole city is transformed. And we created like an organization called Comipas, which is a Committee for Interreligious Peace or something like that. And it grew more than we thought. For example, maybe, I don't know the years, but maybe 8 years ago, there was a very, very hard days for the country, and the police in every huge city of the country made a kind of strike. So the police made a strike. So there was no police. And it began here in Córdoba, and they spread to other provinces of Argentina, even Buenos Aires. And the city was without police, and there were a lot of robberies and crimes. And for 2 days, and the governor of the country called us, the bishop, me, to make the mediation, you call, like to mediate between the police and the government. And it was, they were with guns. So now I can tell you with this smile, but those were very difficult times. But we helped to find a solution to this very, very hard crisis, because we were doing, some police said, if a Jew and a Catholic and a Muslim can live together and can be friends, they know how to deal with it, call them. And the governor called us to mediate between them. Luckily, it was successful. But that I was telling you that this grew more than we thought, and now we are called to mediate in some other conflicts in the city or in the society, and that's because of these kind of programs that we are doing for several years. One of them is in the university, where we have in the Catholic University, which is huge here, huge. Maybe the Catholic University, I don't know if Milos, you know the numbers, but for example, the university in Córdoba, the National University of Córdoba, has 100,000, more than 100,000 students. And the Catholic, maybe it's about 30,000 students. They are huge. And we, together with the university, organize each year in 2 months, for example, August and September, we organize a class or a seminar, open seminar, to maybe some credits the students receive for some different careers. And each year it's about a different subject, seen by the eyes of different religious traditions. For example, I don't know, the hate or the violence in Jewish, Catholic, Muslim, etc. They are very successful too, and maybe we have made more than 10 years these seminars. We've been doing them in the Catholic University, and we are very proud of that too. At the same time, it's the third newspaper of the country, which is from Córdoba, which is called La Voz del Interior, since 2004. Each week, each Tuesday, we publish an article for different, from Jewish tradition, from Catholic tradition, and this since 2004 each week. And now we have 3 books that, they compile, it's a compilation of those articles. And this also helps, to create a kind of atmosphere of dialogue, which is very important for us in the region. Our work was recognized by the organization called Relations for Peace, which is maybe the biggest organization at the global level of interreligious dialogue. Relations for Peace choose our city and our organization to be the basis of the Relations for Peace in Argentina, even passing over Buenos Aires, which is very strange because Buenos Aires always concentrates as the capital of the country the main things, but in the interreligious field, we are better, much more better than Buenos Aires. And well, it was recognized not by us, but in this case, by the Relations for Peace organization, which is also recognized in the United Nations. So some of the programs are these. At the same time, with the World Jewish Congress, I work as a volunteer in the interreligious field for Latin America. We've been organizing lots of different activities. For example, I've led a trip from priests to Israel, from young priests, and we were together 3 times visiting Israel, the main Jewish and Christian spots of the country. Together, I've been leading these trips with different priests, and we are organizing one for bishops and rabbis for the next year from the different countries of the region. I mean, rabbis and bishops from Brazil, Uruguay, Chile, Argentina. We will not be less than 20, but it's very important for us to organize those trips in order to, to stress and to make a harder relationship, to fortify it. Okay. I've talked a lot. What else? Up to now, we are okay?
Yes,
we are absolutely fine. I just have a question. How is this? You say Córdoba is a special case, or there are other cities where you see fruits of similar developments?
There are some developments in Buenos Aires and in other cities of the country, huge cities like Rosario, Tucumán, Mendoza, but they are beginning. So they are trying to follow our tradition, I could say, because maybe our city and our projects are in some way like models for others. And we work a lot in this, and we love this dialogue. And as I said before, it's not dialogue, it's a friendship now. And for example, just to give you another grasp of these situations, which is very uncommon, we organize also with the Muslims in this case, what we call a Shabbat Iftar. Shabbat is, as you know, the Jewish special day of rest and the sacred day of the week, Shabbat, beginning on Friday night and ending on Saturday night. And maybe the best moment of this Shabbat is Friday evening, when after the services, we in each home we do a Shabbat dinner, which is a special dinner with the candles, with wine, with special bread, with blessings for the kids, for the wife, with songs and special meals. Well, at the same time, the iftar in Arabic is the ceremony and the meal that is made in each day of the special month of Ramadan, which is a special month in the Muslim calendar. And we've made together not only the leadership, but the communities during some time in Ramadan. And on one Friday of Ramadan, we organize the Shabbat Iftar. So we go to the mosque on Friday night, and after our service, in the religious service, I will begin again. We begin our service in the synagogue with a call to the prayer made by the imam, because at that time they begin eating. So before our service, we have the iftar, the meal for the Muslims in the synagogue. And then after our service, we go to make the Shabbat dinner at the mosque. So you hear Arabic and some prayers in Arabic in the synagogue, and they at the mosque, they listen to Hebrew songs with meals, with Jewish meals there. So it's very strange and very successful. And at the same time, I must recognize that at the beginning, it was very difficult because in both communities, there were voices that said, what is this? This is crazy. It's absolutely impossible to do this, and we don't like that. But there were 2 or 3 or maybe 4 voices of each place. And after we made that, those voices didn't appear again, because they realized that it was absolutely, I don't know how to say it, nice. So for us, for example, the bishop who sings with me, now the Pope decided that he should continue his mission in another province. So next week he will travel. And this Friday night, this next Friday night, I mean tomorrow, we will make at the service in the synagogue a special moment for him in order to congratulate and thank him for all the work that he's done in the field of interreligious dialogue. And well, that's for us very, it's not strange. I mean, it's something like everyday thing. What else?
May I ask you, do I understand it correctly that the basis of all of this is really the friendship? That because you are so convinced of the dialogue and you live the dialogue is the way of your life, and your thinking and your mutual friendship is the fruit of the dialogue, and that gives it the power to spread it over and to attract others. Would you say that this is the major ingredient, and that's why it's not so easy to spread it to other cities, because you would need there people who share a real friendship?
Yes, I think that it's a matter also of time and of work. Maybe you can do a special activity once in a year, and that's okay, but it's like a friendship. If you don't share time or a coffee or a conversation, you can't be a friend of someone, through a screen. And maybe that you can see him or her once a year. There's no way to build a friendship without investing in time and in coffee and in conversations. In the Talmud, which is a book of wisdom from our old wise guys, antiquous guys. It says that, it says something like this, Aseh lecha rab, it's in Hebrew, it's like, be yourself a rabbi, make yourself a rabbi, ukne lecha chaver, which means acquire for you a friend. And the verb acquire, like buy a friend, sounds very, very strange. And the commentary says that as you invest in whatever, I don't know, a room or a table or whatever you want to buy, a telephone, a cellular phone, and you work for that a lot, in the same way you have to work and invest not only money, of course, but time and energy to have a friend. Because friendship is not so easy. It demands a lot, and it's a nice work. It's a nice work.
Great. That really is encouraging. And it seems to me that as we hear the prophecy that through Abraham's children, all the nations of the world will be blessed, that what you have just shared about reconciling those policemen and at the time of real crisis, that to me is a beautiful witness how your friendship and the dialogue can bring peace also for the people who would not identify themselves as Jews or Christians, and for the society in which you live. You bring something very precious. So
yeah, for us it was a kind of test of that, as you said before. 2 weeks ago, the Jewish World Congress, where I work in the field of interreligious dialogue for Latin America, we organized our session of maybe almost 100 countries. I mean, the main lay leaders and rabbis also were there of different countries in the world that have, of course, a Jewish congregation, Jewish community or Jewish federation. We gathered together at the Vatican, inside what is called the synodal room or palace, I don't know how to call it. And it was the first time that the Jewish organization in these 2,000 years made its meeting inside the Vatican. And after that, we met with the Pope, and we told him that we began at that time the building of a document which is called Kishreinu, which will be in a certain way a Jewish response to the Catholic declaration called Nostra Aetate, which was the main declaration that changed the relationship between Catholics and Jews. It was written in the Concilio Vaticano II, in the Second Vatican Concilium, and in 1965. Well, we are now making a kind of round of a documented draft that I had the pleasure to write, the first draft, and it's now going to these almost 100 communities to be corrected, and in order to be a document made by all of the Jewish communities around the world, in order to put a new step in the relationships between the Jews and the Catholics. And that was 2 weeks ago that we were at the Vatican sharing with the Pope this, special moment. At the same time, in a personal way, I criticized the Pope. I told him that he was letting me without my bishop because he was changing his place. So I told him, how will we going to sing again together And Francis said to me, you will manage to do it again. And it was so funny, that moment, but it's also linked to a friendship. Well, maybe here in Hebrew, the word for friend is haver, which is a very nice word. Haver means friend. At the same time, our Kabbalists say that if you change the letters, the 3 letters of haver in Hebrew, you can change the order of these 3 letters and you form the word Horev. Horev is the other name of the Sinai mountain. In the book of Deuteronomy, for example, the Sinai mount is called the Horev Mount. So what is a friend, what is a haver, is the one that can connect you to the revelation, which was done in the Sinai or the Horev mountain. So a friend is really someone who can help you to go up to the mountain and be in contact with the divine. And that happens in the interreligious dialogue when it's done in this way. And we are witness of this. And I am so grateful to have a relationship of love and friendship with the bishop, with the imam, with a lot of priests around the world. And that for me is climbing the mountain again.
I have a question, if I may interrupt. A few years ago, we have published here, and Lucia was the chief editor, this very special publication. It's called From Zelisberg to Jerusalem and Rome. That's a Slovak edition of major Catholic and Jewish declarations. So at the moment, there are 3 Jewish declarations there. Dabru Emet, we have there to fulfill the will of our Father in the heaven. And the 3rd one is between Jerusalem and Rome, the 3rd one.
Great.
So my question is, the new declaration, how different it will be once this pass the whole process?
Well, when I began to write it, of course, I've looked on the declarations that you mentioned before, and in some way, maybe the different thing that this declaration has, maybe will have, is the best way to put it, is that it's made not in a theological way, but in a congregational way. I mean, it's not about rabbis, because in the Catholic field, the authorities of the Catholic Church are all priests. The priest of my neighborhood, the bishop, and the pope, let's say in this way. But they are all priests. And you will never have a declaration of the church made by other guy, but a priest. It's different in the Jewish world, because the Jewish world, of course, we don't have a pope, we don't have bishops, we have rabbis. But at the same time, we have rabbis of different trends, more orthodox, less orthodox, more liberal, whatever you can find. At the same time, you have communities run by lay leaders. The president of a community, there are communities that are more linked to a religious way of living. There are communities that are more linked to a cultural, sport, Zionist. There's a whole bunch of different forms of organizations. And in this way, this declaration will show this diversity. At the same time, this diversity could lead to different ways of relationships in each country and each city with the Catholic authorities and congregations. So this kind of look is the new, I could say, the new color that will shape this new declaration, because it's outside that I am a rabbi, but it has, of course, it has, you know, mekorot, which are Jewish texts from the Psalms, from the prophets, and it's short, it's not a big one, maybe it's 3 pages, but we are trying to put some history at the beginning and some concrete lines of conduct that we recommend, because it's a Jewish document that we recommend to our communities to engage in order to promote this new step in the relationship between Jews and Catholics. So it's a document which we will give to the Pope when it's finished, but at the same time, it will be part of a growing project from almost 100 countries. So it has a potential, a very big screen to operate. So we hope that it's a kind of basis for a new step, because there are things that we are doing in different countries that are great. So we should empower those countries, and we should get the countries and the places that there is no dialogue to come to this level. So it's different in each place.
I have a question. So, and this declaration has been written in a draft, and now it's in a redaction process by various congregations.
Yes, that's it. Now we are circulating this draft through different congregations and communities for all around the globe. And in a matter of thing, I think that before Pesach, before Passover, we will have it finished. So yeah, before we circulated it, we also test it in different countries in less than 10, and it went right. So we think that it will have changes, of course, but there will be minimum. I hope so. We'll see.
So good to hear that. And what will be the name of the title of the document?
The document will be called Kishreinu, Kishreinu, which means our bond in Hebrew, our bond, Kishreinu.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's like a Jewish response to Nostra Aetate in some way.
Yes, yeah, great. We'll look forward to it, and we'll be happy to translate it to Slovak.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Not from Spanish though, but yeah.
And it's written in original. It's written in English or in Spanish.
I've written it in Spanish, but in order to get the draft done, we translated the Spanish into English, and the draft is being corrected in English. So it will be written in English and then in other languages, but the first draft in my computer was written in Spanish and then translated into English.
So I don't want to hear any secrets now, because obviously we are going to make this talk public through our website, but just have a question. So you are one of the main authors of the declaration.
Yeah. I am part of we've made a commission of redaction that we are beginning our work next in 2 weeks, I think. 2 or 3 weeks, and well, yeah, of course, I'm part of the commission.
Very happy to hear.
From what I wrote, the first draft. Now it's much more better because of the corrections and suggestions of other guys in other Jewish communities around the globe. So I'm very happy that it's a kind of building together in different conditions, in different societies, that we can, contribute to make a better final document.